Hello. So now it is 4 p.m. Hope you have completed the spoken tutorials and are working on the practice problems. So, as per the schedule, we have another session now starting at 4 p.m. So, it is an overview of eSIM. So, our team member Saurabh will actually explain to you what is the features and what are the capabilities of eSIM so that you will get a better idea of what all things you can do using eSIM. So tomorrow definitely we will be covering that in much more detail. But today he will just give you a snapshot of what all things eSIM is capable of. So Saurabh, it's over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I hope everyone was able to follow the tutorials properly. There are no more issues that you are able to simulate circuits. I hope that is taken care of. If not, if you are facing some issues, you can still post questions on the forums, or we are here to help you, of course. So what I'll do is I'll talk briefly for about eSIM. So in the morning also, Professor Kannan gave an explanation of what eSIM is, how it was created, and everything. So I'll be reiterating some of the stuff. So to begin with, eSIM is an integrated tool that is a wrapper around three earlier two and now three open source tools. So the first tool is the KiCad. So KiCad is a tool which is used to create schematics. It is used to create PCB designs, and it's completely open source. And it has actually picked up many users, and the circuit design community has actually picked up this tool in a yeah, in a big way. Uh, so that's what we had used in where eSIM was created, and now you can fine. I mean, you can create a circuit, but you can draw the wires, you can place the symbols and everything. You can give names, assign values, but in order to simulate it, you need some kind of a simulation engine at the back. Otherwise, how will you verify it? So for that purpose, we added the circuit simulator ngSpice. So ngSpice is again uh, derived from the Spice 3F5 simulator, which was originally designed by the University of California, Berkeley. So it has been used since many decades now. Honestly, it has been used for many decades, but it's still state of the art as far as these many of the circuits are concerned. And the third part that we will show on the last day is the mixed signal simulation, where you have, instead of there is another component that is hooked to ngSpice, uh, which is GSDL. So this is the VSDL simulator, and so these are the three main components that make up eSIM. These are the base tools, and in order to wrap them all together and present to users such as you in a nice way, our team since 2014, 2014 or 15, if I'm not wrong, has been there have been multiple members to this team who have worked on this interface. Uh, so I'll just list out the capabilities. So one thing I mentioned is the schematic creation. So if you have seen, you can if you have explored eSIM a little bit, you have explored the libraries. You can see here that there are almost 4,000 something libraries in there. So if you have explored eSIM, so like I was just telling a minute ago, so to put this all together, this code, the eSIM code, this wrappers code is entirely done in Python, and there is some C coding involved in for the mixed signal simulation part, but mostly eSIM is built using Python, a Python programming language. So if you open any schematics in eSIM, you will see in the component area that there are, you can see 3,908 items loaded. So there are 3,908 items, eight different components that you can use. So these can be anything from your transistor to your 555 ICs to just some normal pin connectors that you see on your breakout boards. or it can be a audio jack. So let's just see if the audio jack is there. Yeah. So if you're designing a circuit for something that, if you're designing a PCB, if your intention is to design a PCB for a circuit that has an audio jack, so you can just see the uh, variety, the number of selections that you get in here. So it's a quite versatile software. So even if your agenda is not to simulate something, you can still create a lot of circuits in here. Another good thing that it offers using this. So if you're say you're using this software to teach your course, if you have some course and you want the circuits created by students to be to go into some journals or to be published into a paper, so you can actually export them to various formats. You can export them to various formats. If I'm not wrong, there is a format you can churn this schematic that you see into a PostScript format. You can convert this into a PDF format. You can choose different sizes in which you want this schematic to be printed out, whether it is black and white, or there are some other formats also which are used in the industry, so that you can pass your information for commercial use. Also, you can use this. Then secondly, you can create your own components. If you have a specific design, if you have some IC that is missing, and I'm just talking about circuit simulation, circuit design here. If you have a custom component that has say four pins on one side and 5 pins on the other side, and you want to place it into some kind of a circuit, so you can actually go using this part editor library, which will be covered in coming days. You can actually create your own components and use them in your circuit. So, and what do you do after you created the schematic? Okay, fine. You have created the schematic. Now you want to simulate it. So in order to simulate it, eSIM offers various types of simulations that you can do for. So there is AC. You can do a frequency sweep. You can do DC analysis. You can do operating point analysis. You can do transient analysis. And as we have seen in the video, you will see that you can specify the parameters. If you select AC sweep, it will ask you what kind of a scale do you want. Do you want an octane scale or a decade? What should be the start frequency? How many number of points you want to cover? So things like that. For DC operating point also, DC sweep also, you can specify the sources. As you increase the number of sources, this range will keep increasing, and you can specify the way. You can specify the range and the unit that you want to do. A transient, I believe, is the most that has been used today a lot. So this is something you're already familiar with. Then you can specify the voltage sources. For example, this diode characteristics, it has a DC source. You can specify the value whatever you want. It is 1 volt, 5 volts, 50 volts. Then ngSpice model is something we'll cover on the last day. And like Professor Mahesh Patil had mentioned in the morning, that for non-linear circuits, you have to somehow you have to. So actually, I will skip this part because there is a demo coming up in just 5 minutes on device modeling. And subcircuit is when, so this subcircuits are used when, subcircuit feature is when you have an IC or a specific component which is to be used repeatedly into some other circuit. Best example would be an op-amp. So you can actually create your own op-amp using transistor logic or some other logic, or you can write the subcircuit file for it and create it and use it. Use it multiple times for other for different circuits. So this is a quite common method. I think many of you might be already familiar with subcircuits. A device model will be covered by my colleague Gloria and our former intern Sumanto. So the next step in this, after simulation, the next step is to your circuit. You have designed your circuit, you have simulated it. So the next step would be to have an actual working circuit in your hand. So how do we do that? We do that by creating a printed circuit board. So eSIM, by the means of KiCad, it offers this capability of designing circuits to you, designing the PCB layout to you. So which we will cover in tomorrow's spoken tutorials. We will cover that part from start to end, how to how to change the simulation schematic to how to place the tracks, and how do you get the how to run the checks whether the board you have designed does not have any errors. So those kind of checks are all can be performed. And towards the end, when you want to give that your layout design to a manufacturer, you will there are multiple methods through which you can do that. One of the most famous and commonly used method is by the creation of Gerber files. So Gerber files are what are usually used by manufacturers and designers to pass on the information. So you need not send your entire project. You can just send a Gerber file, and it has all the information as to where your components are placed, at what distance they are from each other, what should be the width of the copper track that is going to be placed, and other miscellaneous stuff. Whether some text has to be printed. You may have seen a lot of text on this on some PCBs, property of this, that, etc., etc. So this covers the area from circuit creation till fabrication. Now we have been talking about just analog parts. I just have 2 minutes, so I'll cover this quickly. So there is also a possibility of you simulating digital circuits in here. So if you just quickly look up eSIM digital, you will see that we have got an AND gate, we have got a buffer, we have got a D flip flop, and inverter, things like that. So you can actually use this. You can even simulate digital circuits in this scenario, and we have taken it a bit further, which in a feature that we very recently introduced to eSIM with the help of one of the professors at IIT Bombay in the electrical department, that is Professor Madhav Desai. So he actually helped us get this thing working. Which is the NGSDL feature. We call it NGSDL, where I will cover this on the last day in very deep in detail. But what we essentially do is how you saw the AND gate just now. So you can actually write a small VHDL code for your AND gate or any logical design that you have in mind, and eSIM will generate a model for it that you can use to simulate something. And it has been further extended to support microcontrollers also, which will also be covered on the last day. So I have just 1 minute left, so I will I think I will so I have stopped sharing my screen. So I think I have 1 minute. If someone has a quick question before the next session starts, I'll be happy to answer some questions.
Even you can ask any other things which we've got any doubts while doing the simulation. That also just ask now.
So Mr. Gopal Gowda has asked a doubt in the chat, which I'll answer quickly. So what is error? Project file takes only a single file name. So when you are creating a project, if you type a name saying RC, RC new, for example, there is no spaces in there. So you may think that, okay, my project does not have a name, but why does eSIM give this error? But you have to understand that this project that you are creating is stored at some location in your computer, and that location has a path. So it can be C users Saurabh something. So if my username is C users Saurabh Bansode, and I give a space between Saurabh and Bansode, or any other name, whatever you have written, or new admin, so that space is counted, and that's why this error pops up even if you don't have a space in your project name, because the entire path to that project has to be considered. So that answers Mr. Gopal Gowda's question. And to answer, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Minauti and M.A. Himayat, how it is different from Proteus. So, well, we do not charge a single rupee for using this software. If you have your own company, if you build your own company tomorrow and you want to use eSIM, no one is going to come and ask you for license fees. No one will say, okay, pay me 10 lakhs because you have used my software. So that's how Proteus and Multisim is different. That's how eSIM is different from Proteus and Multisim. That's the very short answer. There are some in depth. There are some differences also. Of course, Proteus supports a lot more. It may have support for many microcontrollers and all. We have support for only one, but with help from others, we can probably improve that. Can this be also be used as a synthesizer tool? So, Mr. Bhavart Gupta, you can ask this question. I think Professor Desai will be very happy to answer this question on the last day. So I'll note down your name. You can please ask the same question to Desai sir. He will have a good answer for you. I am not able to. I won't be able to answer this at the moment, but he will have a good answer for you. So there is to answer Reshma Sharma, noise noise and other analysis can also be done in eSIM, but on our interface directly it is not available. Using ngSpice, you have to set those, you have to manipulate your file and you can get the noise analysis. You can check the ngSpice manual for more. Using, if you modify the cr.out file, you'll be able to you should be able to get the noise analysis also. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think I will hand it over to Gloria. I'm sorry I've taken 3 minutes.